Let's turn to the CALPADS code sets document. Our objective for this lesson will be for you to understand the purpose and intended use of the code sets document, where you can locate it, and how to navigate the code sets document effectively. You can find the CALPADS code sets document on the CDE webpage for CALPADS system documentation, linked to on screen. CALPADS system documents are updated each year at the annual year rollover in September, and version 14 is the new version for the 2022-2023 academic year. What are the purpose and intended use of the CALPADS code sets? The code sets contain a list of codes and descriptions referenced by the CALPADS file specifications for coded value data elements. The intended use of the code sets document is to determine valid and accurate code values when populating fields in various records in CALPADS. Let's take a closer look at that purpose, to provide current code values referenced in the CFS for coded value data elements. Pictured on screen is not a piece of the CALPADS code sets document. This is a piece of the CFS document we covered in the previous module, and the staff job classification code row within the CFS. Remember, there is a column for each record type in the CFS labeled code sets. The code sets document contains a list of codes and descriptions referenced in that column of the CALPADS file specifications. All valid codes used in CALPADS are contained in the code sets. The CALPADS code sets document is intended to be used in order to determine valid and accurate code values when populating fields in various records in CALPADS. You will reference this document when populating a field with a coded value or when troubleshooting errors involving fields with coded values. The code sets document is an Excel workbook with various tabs at the bottom of the window. The Revision History tab lists all the recent changes to the CALPADS codes. Information on new and retired codes can be found here as well. LEAs should note that the CALPADS code sets Revision History tab is a great place to start if you want to see what has changed in a given year from previous years. The CALPADS code sets tab lists each code by code set name, code value, definition, and the start and end dates of the code's validity. This is the tab you will visit most frequently when utilizing the code sets document. There are 85 code sets in this tab, with several codes contained within each code set. The Glossary tab provides a definition of acronyms and terms used throughout the CALPADS code sets document, report mapping guide, business rules, and other CALPADS documentation. Finally, the Resources tab provides links and descriptions of additional resources referred to in the CALPADS code sets document. Let's take a closer look at the CALPADS code sets tab. This is an excerpt from the CALPADS code sets tab. The headings throughout this tab have a consistent meaning across code sets. The code set name is the name of the code set referenced in the CFS. The example on screen is the Student Exit Category code set, and all codes listed are in the Student Exit Category code set. After the code set name is the coded value. The coded value is the literal value of the code, or the characters and numbers populated in a given field. The name is the name of the code for which the coded value represents. Each name is defined in the next column. So, for example, code T160 is named Transferred to California School Regular and indicates that a student has transferred to another California public school. The definition is the description of the code value. So, code T240 is named Transferred out of US and defined as student withdrew from or left school to move to another country, and the district or school has supporting written documentation. The start date is the date the code went into effect. This date may predate the CALPADS system. The start date is relevant when making changes to historical data. If you receive the error, code submitted outside of effective range, you will need to check the code sets to determine when it was active. The end date is the date the code was retired, if applicable. For example, exit code T270 was retired on August 15, 2018, meaning that this code cannot be entered for records after August 15, 2018. Again, this should be a point of reference if you receive a code submitted outside of effective range error message. You are able to quickly and effectively navigate through the CodeSets document utilizing the column headings filter function. On the right-hand side of the column heading, there is a caret, or a downward arrow that you can press to access the filter navigation menu. In the CalPADS CodeSets tab, CodeSet Name is a great heading to use when filtering, as it will show all codes contained in a chosen code set. Once you click the caret in the CodeSet Name heading, a menu will appear. First, deselect all and use the search bar to find the CodeSet name you would like further clarity on. Check that name, then click OK to perform the filter function. In this example, we've selected Student Exit Category. When we press OK, we will see all codes with the CodeSet name Student Exit Category or all codes within the Student Exit Category code set. Details are provided for each code, including row, code set name, coded value, name, definition, start date, and end date. Code set name isn't the only useful heading in the CodeSets document to filter with. If we want to see a list of all and only active codes, we can filter using the end date heading. When we click the caret in the end date heading, deselect all, then select only NA and press OK, the document will filter for only codes with an end date of NA, indicating that they have no end date and are active codes. In this way, we can use the end date filter to see a list of active codes in CalPADS. Using the filter function, you can easily locate information pertinent to your work, filtering past unnecessary information so that it doesn't appear. Let's turn to a scenario now, in order to apply what we've learned about both the CFS and CodeSets documents. The scenario is this. A student at your LEA has transferred to a private school in California, and you are updating the SENR record to reflect this. What code should you input into field 1.26, student exit reason? The first thing you do to determine the student exit reason code to input for this student is turn to the CFS. This is because you are interested in correctly populating a single field within a record, and the CFS provides guidance and information at the individual field level. The CFS does not provide code values to input into CalPADS records, but does provide a code set name for fields with coded values. Student exit reason code is such a field, and the CFS lists the code set for this field as student exit category. We can now turn to the CalPADS CodeSets document with our knowledge of this code set name and see if we can't determine the correct code to use. When we turn to the CalPADS CodeSets document and open the CalPADS CodeSets tab, the first thing we see is an exhaustive list of all CalPADS codes, partially shown on the left-hand side of this slide. But we remember from training that we can utilize the filter function with the headings of this document in order to quickly locate the information we need. Since the CFS told us the code set name for this field is student exit category, we filter for student exit category in the code set name heading. When we do so, a number of choices appear for us, a portion of which are on the right-hand side of this slide. We diligently read through each of these choices and determine that T180, transferred to private, is the correct code to use in this scenario. A student at our LEA has transferred to a private school in the state of California. Now that we've located the correct code to input into field 1.26, student exit reason code, we know what action we should take. We will submit our SENR record for this student, populating field 1.26, student exit reason, with code T180. This will indicate a transfer to a California private school. And in this way, we can see the value and interconnectedness of the two CalPADS documents we've discussed so far, the CFS and code sets, and how we can put them to use in data population. We've now covered the location, purpose, intended use, and navigation of the CalPADS code sets document.